What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's co-main event fight at 130 pounds between the Savage Raymond Ford and the Gunman Thomas Mattice. This fight is the co-feature on the Jaron Ennis versus Eimantas Stanionis championship fight. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Also, like this video, and if you can, go to the bottom of your screen right now, find that little bell notification button, hit that so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. Thank you. All right, guys, we have a world title fight at 147 pounds, a unification fight between the Lithuanian Eimantas Stanionis and the American Jaron Ennis. The co-main event on that card is this fight that I'm going to be featuring today between Raymond Ford and Thomas Mattice. In this video, we're going to be reminding everybody who these fighters are, what these fighters have been up to. We're going to talk about where those current Las Vegas odds sit. And stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to be giving you my prediction on how you can make the most out of your money. Let's get into this. All right, guys, the average boxing fan should know about the Savage Raymond Ford. He's been in some huge fights. This is a former world champion at 126 pounds, and he is on a quest to become a two-weight world champion. This will be his second fight at 130 pounds. We last saw him in November in his first fight at 130 pounds. Decision Orlando Gonzalez in a 10-round fight. Before that was the WBA world champion at 126, and we know that he lost a close split decision to the current champion, Nick Ball. After that fight, we saw him move up, and this is where he stands. In his opponent, he's fighting another tough, gritty Northeast Ohio opponent. You guys know I love my Northeast Ohio fighters, considering I'm from Youngstown. The Gunman Thomas Mattice is from Cleveland, Ohio. If you guys don't know about this guy, this is not going to be a walkover fight for Raymond Ford. Mattice comes to fight. He is a knockout artist, and this is going to be a fun fight. I'm actually really excited about it. If you've never seen Mattice fight, go YouTube the whole fight. I played you some early highlights in the beginning of this video, but watch the fight when he took on undefeated 16-0 Cesena. He was down on all the cards, and all you need to know about Mattice is that rather than putting his chin down and staying on his stool, he came out firing and knocked him out in the 10th. These are my favorite fighters. Guys who have knockout power late into a fight. Guys who could be down on all of the cards every single round, and in the last round still think that they could win the fight. That's who this guy is. It's in his DNA makeup to never quit in a fight. So this is going to be a fun firefight. Right now, I want to remind everybody what's at stake and what to expect come Saturday night in Atlantic City. Guys, Raymond Ford will face Thomas Mattice for the WBA Continental North American Super Featherweight title at the Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City on April 12th. Their 10-round title clash completes the lineup for the blockbuster welterweight unification clash between Ennis and Stanionis live worldwide on DAZN. 25-year-old Raymond Ford, 16-1 with 1 draw and 8 knockouts, fights at 130 pounds for just the second time after moving up from featherweight last November. In his super featherweight debut, the Savage decisioned Puerto Rican Orlando Gonzalez over 10 rounds in Philadelphia in a hard-hitting classic. The New Jersey native won the WBA World Featherweight title, a stunning last-gasp knockout win over Otabek Komatov in March in Verona, New York, but was then edged out in his first defense by a razor-thin split decision reversal against British boxer Nick Ball in Riyadh, June 2024. Ford is ranked WBC 4th, WBA 6th, IBF 6th, and WBO 8th, and will be eyeing that second world title shot this year. But the Gunman Mattice will relish the chance to upset his opponent's plans. Ohio's Mattice, who's 22-4 with 1 draw and 17 knockouts, prepares to fight on his 4th Matchroom card, having landed wins over Christian Tapie at home in Cleveland in November 2022 and Ramiro Cesena in San Antonio a year later. That's the fight I told you guys about. In his last outing in Mexico in September, his 12-round championship clash with Eduardo Rocky Hernandez was heating up nicely before an accidental head clash ended matters after 6 rounds, and Hernandez was awarded a technical decision win. Camden's Ford commented, and I quote, "I'm excited to fight in Atlantic City. It's pretty much a home fight for me, so I'm going to go do what I do best and put on a show. I know a lot of guys turn me down, and it's been hard to get someone to take this fight. Credit to Mattice for stepping up. There's nobody at 130 pounds getting in my way. I'm coming for all the champions, and they can't keep running forever. He has to get past Mattice first, who's enthused. I'm super excited about the opportunity. I know Buddy, but not personally. But anyone that knows me knows I'll scrap with whoever, whenever. It's really easy with me. I'm looking forward to an action-packed fight with my hands being raised at the end and hearing and the new. So guys, this is going to be a fun fight. Thomas Mattice's style, he's a pressure forward fighter. He's going to be there to slug it out and trade like I told you earlier. He's not a guy to give up on himself. He's a guy who's self-motivated, and he goes in there every time looking for the knockout and looking for the victory. So with his opponent, Raymond Ford, already having that world title swagger, already being a champion at 126, looking at Mattice as just another stepping stone to becoming a two-division world champion. Right now, let's take a closer look at the gunman. Guys, Thomas Mattice is 22-4 with 1 draw. He has 17 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 77% career knockout to win ratio. And out of 1,966 fighters at 130 pounds, he's ranked number 27. The 34-year-old American's an orthodox fighter standing at 5'9", with a 73-inch reach. His adoring fans call him the Gunman, and he hails from Cleveland, Ohio. We last saw him fight Rocky Hernandez, 35-2. That was the technical draw. He lost the decision when it went to the scorecards in the 6th. Cesar Juarez was 28-14, knocked him out in the 8th. Cesna, 16-0, knocked him out in the 10th. Tapia, 15-0, UD in the 10th. Reese, 24-9, knockout in the 6th. So guys, just listen to the stats. Knockout in the 6th out of 8 rounds. Knockout in the 10th. Knockout in the 10th. This is a guy who carries power late. This is a natural 130-pound fighter. This is a guy who wants to become a world champion. At 34 years old, what do we always say at this division? It's now or never. He's not getting any younger. What an opportunity, though, to upstage the oncoming young champion and take all that momentum from him. Matchroom fans will know the Gunman. You guys seen him on cards before. And for the average fight fan who might not be aware, tune into this one. It's a co-main for a reason, and both guys are going to come to win. Now let's take a closer look at Raymond Ford. Guys, Raymond Ford is 16-1-1 with 8 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 50% career knockout to win ratio. And out of 1,966 fighters at 130 pounds, he's ranked number 7. The American's a southpaw fighter standing at 5'7" with the 69-inch reach, and the 26-year-old fans know him as the Savage. He hails from Camden, New Jersey. We last saw him fight Orlando Gonzalez, 23-2, UD in the 10th. Nick Ball, 19-0, lost a split decision in the 12th. Komatov, 12-0, knockout in the 12th. Magdaleno, 29-1, UD in the 12th. Lucas, 25-1, knockout in the 8th. So with Raymond Ford, he's all action. Call him the Savage for a reason. He's going to want to go in there and prove a point. Like I said earlier, this is just another stepping stone to get to his ultimate goal, another world title. In his eyes, it's going to be business as usual. When I look at both fighters side by side, Mattice will be the taller guy. He'll be the naturally bigger guy. We know that Raymond Ford, this is only his second fight at 130. Mattice is going to have the reach, and he's going to have the power advantage. It's going to come down to the risks that Mattice takes. Orthodox for southpaw, will he be able to walk Ford onto something, or will Ford be able to trap him in the corner and work that body and eventually break Mattice down? We've never seen Mattice get stopped. We know he has a handful of losses, but this guy is a hard out. Now let's take a closer look where the bettors are putting their money and where Las Vegas has this fight. Guys, I live down here in Sydney, Australia, and by now you should know that I'm using the Sportsbet app. So all you Aussies, let's pull that app out right now. All right, guys, on the money line, $100 on Raymond Ford just to win the fight only gets you $10 in return. He's coming into this fight as a favorite. The draw's 21-1. 100 on Mattice to win is 8-1, so 100 gets you the 800 back. Now let's look at some of the method of victory bets. Raymond Ford to win a points or decision goes from a 110 to a 180. So for the value, that's an interesting pick. But if you pick that fight outright or put it on a parlay and Raymond Ford knocks out Mattice, you lose your bet. I want to clarify that. Raymond Ford to win by knockout, 260. Mattice to win a points or decision, 12-1. Mattice to win by knockout, 17-1. So Mattice is the underdog, 8-1. If you guys are leaning in on the favorite and see Ford winning in terms of getting more juice for the squeeze, I would take Raymond Ford points or decision rather than the knockout. If you take Raymond Ford money line, like I said, it's only $1.10. But if you take him points or decision and remove the knockout from the equation, that's $1.80. That's almost a 2-1 bet. I actually like that bet. If you guys are Thomas Mattice fans and think that the Cleveland, Ohio native is going to go into Atlantic City and upset the odds, as a knockout order, 77% career knockout to win ratio, carrying that power late, the naturally bigger guy, I would take him to knock out Raymond Ford rather than just win a decision, considering his statistics. And if he does pull that off, that's 17-1. Now, where I'm going with my money, the smart money in my opinion, I'm going to take Raymond Ford to beat Thomas Mattice. I think that his momentum and his trajectory is putting him right in line to become a two-division world champion in only his mid-20s. I just see this is probably the more likely thing to happen. Also, I'm not going to take the money line at $1.10. Love Raymond Ford on my parlay to decision. Thomas Mattice at $1.80. In the comment section below, let me know where you guys are putting your money. You guys don't have to agree with me. Do you think it's going to be Ford? Do you think it's going to be Young Gunna? Also, what's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's unified title fight at 147 pounds between the IBF champion Jaron Ennis and the WBA champion Eimantas Stanionis. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. Could you guys please remember to hit subscribe? 80% of you guys who watch my content haven't done that yet, so please do that now. That'll really help me out. Also, be sure to like this video, as well as go to the bottom of your screen right now and hit that bell notification button so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. Thank you. All right, guys, boxing fans always say one word when we talk about big fights: unification. We want to see champions fight champions, and this is exactly what we're going to get this weekend in Atlantic City at the famed Boardwalk. I was there many moons ago. The only time I've ever seen a fight there, my childhood buddy, Kelly the Ghost Pavlik, knocked out Jermaine Taylor to become the middleweight champion of the world at 160 pounds. That seems like a whole lifetime ago. This is where that fight is taking place. The storied history of that facility, just Google it. You'll see all of the history there. With these two guys, they're trying to make history of their own. The WBA title, which is owned by the Lithuanian, and the IBF title, which is owned by the American, will be on the lines, but also the winner will also leave with the Ring Magazine belt. This was a division that was once ruled by Terrence Crawford. He was the undisputed champion after he beat Errol Spence Jr., but we know what happened after that. He left the division, fought at 54, vacated the belts, and he's getting ready for things at 168 pounds. Now, the champions, as they are to this day at 147, we talked about the two fighters, but the other two are Mario Barrios and Brian Norman Jr. The division is sorting itself out post Terrence Crawford, and the winner of this fight will be one step closer to assuring their dreams of being an undisputed champion in the weight class. With the American Jaron Ennis, I can't talk about it enough. His athleticism, his explosivity, all of the X factors that he brings into a fight. He's a traditional orthodox fighter, but he will switch stances, and he'll do this within the exchange. Now, he also uses angles very well. You watch him throughout a fight, you'll see him fight at range and at distance, and then you'll also see him fight in the clinch. He's very comfortable there. This is where he usually steps in, tilts his head off the center line, and throws those uppercuts. He also has a high fight IQ. This is a guy that when he sees you hurt, he's going in for the kill. His punch style, the angles he punches at, are a lot different throughout a fight than when they are when he sees you against the ropes and you're hurt. He starts sitting on things, and when Jaron Ennis starts throwing his whole body into his shots, he's probably going to get you out of there. Thus, his record of 33-0. We last saw him fight that rematch against Chukachin. With the Lithuanian, Stanionis, he comes with a more classic style. He's going to come at you with a high guard. He has an efficiency and economy of energy. He is a pressure-forward fighter, but he doesn't waste a lot of things. He's going to come at you with a power jab. High guard, power jab. He does a lot of good work in the clinch, and he has a very disciplined game plan. What he's going to want to do is pressure Jaron Ennis. He's going to want to make Jaron Ennis uncomfortable. He'll also punch with you, meaning that the one hole in Ennis's game, if the naysayers are going to talk about it, is sometimes when he has his opponent up against the ropes and Ennis is taking pot shots, he kind of stays in the action a bit too long. He kind of watches his work. He must be careful doing this against Stanionis, because the one thing Stanionis does really well is he'll catch and counter. He'll catch that, shell up, take a lot of shots on his guard, and then he'll fire back. So this is going to be one of the narratives of that fight. We last seen Stanionis in a fight last year in a decision victory against Gabriel Maestre. Well, the knock on Stanionis is going to be about his inactivity. Since 2020, he's only had a handful of fights. We know that multiple fights were canceled. We were supposed to see him against Virgil Ortiz multiple times due to health issues outside of his concern and also health issues on his side. He's had a lot of fights fall through. But come this weekend, fight fans are finally going to get to see a fight that a lot of us have been waiting for. Two champions at 147, and only time will tell to see who leaves victorious. Now what I want to do is take a closer look at what's at stake with this fight come Saturday night. Guys, Saturday night in Atlantic City at the iconic Boardwalk Hall will play host what could very well be one of the most electrifying showdowns of the year. Jaron Ennis takes on Eimantas Stanionis in a high-stakes welterweight clash with the WBA and IBF titles on the line, and the winner also leaving with the Ring Magazine belt. Jaron Ennis enters the bout with an eye-popping undefeated record of 33 wins, 29 of those coming by way of knockout. At just 27 years old, the Philadelphia native has already established himself as one of the most dangerous and complete fighters in the division. His blend of explosive aggression and razor-sharp technique makes him a nightmare matchup for anyone at 47. Add to that a considerable edge in both height and reach, and it's clear Ennis will be looking to control the distance and dictate the tempo early. But don't count out the Lithuanian warrior Eimantas Stanionis. Also undefeated with 15 wins and 9 knockouts to his name, Stanionis is a calculated, tough-as-nails competitor with a high ring IQ. While he may not have the same volume of professional experience as Jaron, he's proven he can handle the pressure. His recent victory over the hard-hitting Gabriel Maestre showcased not just his durability, but his ability to adjust and outthink his opponents on the fly. Both men fight out of the orthodox stance, but the contrast in styles, experience, and physical tools could be the X factors. Expect Ennis to bring the heat from the opening bell, looking to overwhelm Stanionis with pressure and power. Meanwhile, Stanionis will likely aim to weather the early storm, banking on his stamina, defense, and timing to turn the tide as the rounds go deep. It's speed versus grit, flash versus fundamentals, and it has all the makings of a can't-miss war in the welterweight division. Guys, right now, let's take a closer look at the career of Eimantas Stanionis and see what he's been up to. Guys, the Lithuanian fighter is 15-0 with 9 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 60% career knockout to win ratio, and out of 2,494 welterweights in the world, he's ranked number 7. The Lithuanian fighter is a 30-year-old orthodox fighter standing at 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. We last saw him fight Gabriel Maestre, 6-0, UD in the 12th. Butayev, 14-0, split decision in the 12th. Colazzo, due to a headbutt, it was called a no contest. Delorme, 25-4, UD in the 12th. Gonzalez, 19-3, knockout in the 9th. With Stanionis, what you're going to get is a textbook technical fighter. He comes out in that orthodox stance. He takes his time. He's what you would call a pressure fighter, but he doesn't waste a lot of things. So I wouldn't really call him a volume puncher, but he's going to be on you the whole time. He wants to establish his footwork. He wants to establish his jab, and he wants to put you on the back foot. Like I said, he uses that high guard to play defense. He ducks a lot, but he'll stay in range to make you think that he's going to exit, but he does little footwork movements to duck, to then come back up on levels and punch with his opponents. This could be very exhausting for his opponents, especially if Stanionis doesn't respect them. I feel early on it's going to come down to, can Stanionis get on his jab early, get Jaron Ennis's respect, and force Ennis to make the adjustments rather than Stanionis making the adjustments. Now let's take a closer look at Boots' resume and see what he's been up to. Guys, Jaron Ennis is 33-0 with 29 knockouts. He carries in the ring an 88% career knockout to win ratio, and out of 2,494 welterweights worldwide, he's ranked number 1. He is the IBF world champion, and the 27-year-old is an American Orthodox fighter standing at 5'10" with a 74-inch reach. His adoring fans call him Boots. We last saw him fight Shukachin, 24-2, UD in the 12th. Avanesian, 30-4, knockout in the 5th. Villa, 26-1, knockout in the 10th. Shukachin, 21-1 the first time, UD in the 12th. Custio Clayton, 19-0, knockout in the 2nd. He only has a handful of fights that he didn't win by knockout, and 2 of those fights were against the same guy, a very tough Karen Shukachin. Jaron Ennis is normally in this division going to be always the bigger guy. He fights at range very well, but like I said earlier, he does like fighting in the pocket. He changes angles very well, and he moves his head off the midline. His body work is great. His hand speed is great. All the intangibles, like we already spoke about, are going to be on Jaron Ennis' side. It's really going to come down to, will he be able to dictate what Stanionis does by getting Stanionis off his game and forcing Stanionis to deter from that jab-heavy game and that pressure-heavy style, and Ennis' power being the great equalizer on that and getting Stanionis to take a step back. When I look at both fighters side by side, Ennis is the younger guy by a couple years. He's the more experienced fighter. He's been way more active, 33 wins, 29 knockouts. Stanionis' knock on him is his inactivity. Hopefully he's coming into this fight with a full and clean bill of health. Boots is the taller guy, the longer guy. The power advantage is on Boots' side. It's going to come down to who's going to make their opponent make a mistake. Can Stanionis force Boots into his style of fight? Can Boots do what he always does and get Stanionis to make a mistake, drop those hands, and catch him with those looping hooks around the guard? So that's going to be another narrative that's going to be pretty interesting. Going into the weekend, let's look at the Las Vegas odds and see where the bettors are putting their money. All right, guys, if you're down here in Australia, let's pull out that sports bet app. On the money line, Jaron Ennis is a big favorite. $1.16, meaning if you put $100 on Ennis just to win, you only get $16 in return. Eimantas Stanionis is a $5.75, meaning if you put 100 on Eimantas to win the fight, you're going to get your 100 back plus 475. Now, when I'm looking at the prop bets, there's some pretty exciting prop bets that I've had a look at that I kind of like, so let's look at those real quick. All right, the method of victory. If you take Boots Ennis to win a points or decision, it's 2-1. So $100 doubles your money. But if you take that bet and Boots knocks the Lithuanian fighter out, you lose your bet. Jaron Ennis to win by knockout, $2.60-1, meaning you put 100 back, you get your money in return plus 160. Considering as a knockout artist, that seems like a pretty decent bet. The draw's 21-1. Stanionis to win a decision is 8-1. $100 gets you your money back plus another 700. Stanionis to knock out Boots, to be the first to beat Boots and to knock him out, 13-1. So when you're looking at the odds on Boots' side, it's almost a 50-50 considering the Boots fans are picking him to both beat Stanionis and on the same token picking him to knock Stanionis out. With the Lithuanian, his fans are picking him more likely to win a decision, so to outpace, outpressure, outpoint Boots rather than to knock him out. Now, when I'm thinking about my money, where I want to go with this, and my prediction, how do I bet against an undefeated knockout artist with the intangibles as Jaron Ennis? How do I bet against a guy who's physically gifted, has a speed advantage, has the power advantage like Jaron Ennis, who's been more active? With Eimantas Stanionis, this is hands down his biggest step up in competition. He did have a good fight last fight against a gritty opponent, but the guy only had 6 pro fights. With Jaron Ennis, you have to give all of the factors to his side. So I fully expect Jaron Ennis to display his skill set. I think he's going to dominate the Lithuanian fighter. I think that style, even though it's simple, it can be complex to a lesser fighter, but I think Boots is going to figure that out. People have to remember, this is a son of a former fighter. This is a son of a coach. Jaron Ennis's probably most underrated game is his fight IQ. Watch how he fights. He reads what his opponent does, and then through that, he uses his high arsenal of skill set to depict what he does. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. It should be close early. It should be a fun fight early. I think Boots drowns him. I'm picking Jaron Ennis to knock out the Lithuanian. In the comment section below, you don't have to agree with me. Let me know how you think this fight goes down. Who's leaving with the belts? Is it going to be the American or the Lithuanian? What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight at 147 pounds. On the undercard of Ennis versus Stanionis, we have the Argentinian fighter Franco Ocampo taking on the Uzbek fighter Shakhram Giyasov. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? My YouTube analytics tell me that 80% of you guys who watch my content haven't done that yet for me, so please do that. It'll help me out a lot. Also, like this video and go down to the bottom of the screen near the subscribe button. You'll see the bell notification button. Hit that so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. Thank you. All right, guys, to continue our week-long documentation, analysis, breakdown, and prediction of this Jaron Ennis versus Eimantas Stanionis card, we have arrived at a fight between an Olympic silver medalist in the Uzbek fighter Shakhram Giyasov taking on an Argentinian, really tough and gritty fighter, smooth boxer, very skilled, in Franco Ocampo. This will be Ocampo's first fight outside of Argentina. He's 17-2. Giyasov, the Uzbek, is an undefeated fighter. In this video, we're going to break down both guys' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about their resumes. We're going to go over the Las Vegas odds, and stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to be giving you my prediction on telling you where to put your money so you can make the most of it. Let's get into this. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about the Argentinian fighter first, Franco Ocampo. This will be his biggest step up in competition. He's 17-2. He's been shelved for a while, hasn't fought in about 2 years. This will be his first fight ever outside of Argentina. There's a fight league in Argentina that he fights out of. All of his fights are from his country. We'll see how he handles the travel. We'll see how he handles the step up in competition. And like always, his greatest opportunity to prove himself and show the world that he belongs on the highest stage. When you watch his film clips, when you watch his film study, he's going to be more of a counter boxer. He's slick. I like the way he moves. One of his most recent fights was against Leonardo Amatrano, in which he knocked him out, and you really get to see Ocampo's skill set on full display in that fight. He uses his movement to evade. He uses his side-to-side movement to avoid the power. Something I really like about his offensive arsenal is his straight right hand. He backs up against the ropes and almost baits his opponent to fire first, and then he counters with that right hand. In his opponent, Giyasov, this is a guy who also likes to counter. In Giyasov, this is a guy who likes to work the body. When you look at his most recent fights, he's been stepping up. He has a lot of hype on him. This goes back to 2019 when he knocked out Darlis Perez in the first round. The more tape I watch of Giyasov, the more you see his game planning in each fight. He works the body, and I'm not going to call him a dirty fighter, but look at his last few opponents. He's been point deducted. His last victory was a split decision because of a point deduction for a low blow. And then a few fights before that, he fought a really tough Cano, the same Cano who had a win over Jorge Linares, and he also was getting warned for low blows. Early in that fight, he knocked Cano down with a body rip that Cano argued, saying it was a low blow. So his game plan is going to want to be work the body to get his fighter to break down and then go after him. When he fought Cano, Cano was pressuring him the whole time, and Giyasov was really doing his best work backing up and countering, using his speed and reflexes to get back into that body. But as the fight went on, it ended up ending in the 11th round due to Cano spraining his ankle, went to the cards, and then Giyasov won a decision. But you started seeing Giyasov's gas tank wear down. He does a lot of sort of explosive movements, and he has a lot of fun in there. He doesn't necessarily taunt his opponent, but he'll be talking to you, and he's a showman. He wants to have an entertaining fight. So this fight is made for that. It's going to be really interesting to see, though, what sort of game plan the Argentinian fighter goes in there against. Will he counter? Will he pressure? And only time will tell. Let's take a closer look at what's at stake this weekend in Atlantic City. Guys, Shakhram Giyasov versus Franco Ocampo. They're fighting at 147 pounds. Giyasov's undefeated, 16-0. Ocampo's 17-2. There are no belts at stake in this fight. A 2016 Olympic silver medalist and a two-time amateur gold medalist, Giyasov went 2-0 in 2024, beating Pablo Cano and Miguel Parra. The Uzbek looks to continue his rise in boxing and reach the top of the welterweight rankings. A former Team Combat League competitor, Ocampo, 17-2, is on a 4-fight win streak and competes outside of Argentina for the first time. He's coming off a series in which he fought Ezequiel Alvarenga twice, in which he went 2-0. So right now, let's take a closer look at the Argentinian's boxing career and see what he's been up to. Guys, Ocampo 17-2 with 8 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 47% career knockout to win ratio. He has a career fought 91 rounds, and the Argentinian's known by his adoring fans as Cazador. He's a 5'7" orthodox fighter with a 69-inch reach, and he hails from Buenos Aires, Argentina. We last saw him fight Alvarenga 5-26 UD in the 6th. Alvarenga again 5-25, knocked him out in the 6th. Amatrano 17-2, knockout in the 3rd. Ruiz 11-6, knockout in the 2nd. One of his only losses was to Brian Chavez, who was 11-1. That was an 8th round technical draw due to a cut. But guys, that was an exciting fight as well. It's on YouTube. In that fight, you saw the Argentinian fighter Ocampo get tested, got dropped early in the 1st round, battles back, survives, goes on to drop Chavez in the 8th round, and then the cut happens, they go to the cards, and he loses a split decision based on the technical cut. So with his current opportunity coming to America the first time, the Argentinian fighter feels he's ready for the showtime, and it's now or never. Now let's take a closer look at his opponent, the Uzbek fighter, Shakhram Giyasov. Guys, Giyasov 16-0 with 9 knockouts. He carries in the ring a 56% career knockout to win ratio. Now to 2,504 welterweights in the world, he's ranked number 17. His adoring fans know him as the Wonder Boy, and the 31-year-old Uzbek fighter stands at 5'9", and he hails from Bukhara, Uzbekistan. We last saw him fight Miguel Parra, 22-4, split decision in the 10th. Cano, 35-8, won a technical decision in the 11th due to Cano spraining his ankle. Calderon, 21-0 UD in the 12th. Gomez, 22-2 UD in the 10th. Korea 29-8 UD in the 10th. When you watch Giyasov fight, he's one of these guys who knows how to win rounds. He knows how to score, and he knows how to elude. He knows how to evade. And what I've seen so far in studying the tape, even though he only has 16 professional fights, he has a lot of amateur experience, thus him having the silver medal. He has the skill set to fight in a couple different styles. He'll counter, and he's really comfortable there, and when he starts seeing you make mistakes, he'll make you pay for them. And then if or when he hurts you to the body, he'll really start slinging and sitting down on the shots. He does have a tendency to open up a lot, drop his hands, and throw the hooks when he feels that you're hurt. So that could be something to think about when thinking about his opponent Ocampo's straight right hand. Right now, when I look at both guys side by side, it's now or never for both guys. We know anyone with a storied amateur career, they usually turn pro a little later. Thus, Giyasov's 31 years old. You know he wants to be active this year. Ocampo's in his late 20s, first fight in America. Who knows if he'll get another shot? When I think about their ring experience, their opponent's strength of schedule up until this point, you got to give it to Giyasov. He is the heavy favorite in this fight, and it would definitely be an upset if the Argentinian flies over to the U.S. and beats him. Now let's take a look at those Las Vegas odds and see where they're putting the money at. All right, guys, the money line bet on this fight, if you take Giyasov to win, he's $1.06, meaning $100, you get your $100 back, but you only get $6 in return. 26-1 on the draw, and Franco Ocampo is close to a 13-1 underdog, meaning $100 will get you $1,200 back if he wins. He's a big underdog. All the bettors are expecting the Uzbek fighter to go in there and wash him. Let's look at some of these method of victories, and I think this will be a good opportunity for you bettors to put on a parlay and get more juice for the squeeze, as they say, because $1.06, in my opinion, isn't worth putting on any parlay. But if you take Giyasov to win a points decision, it goes to 270, and the knockout's at 162. So all the odds are for Giyasov to knock him out. So if you think the Argentinian, who's real tough, 17-2, can last the full length, and Giyasov wins a point decision, that's 270. 100 gets you your money plus 170. But if Giyasov wins by knockout, you don't win. Another opportunity for a nice little single bet would be Giyasov by knockout. 100 gets you 162. You get your money plus 62 back. Let's look at the Argentinian's odds. 29-1 to go the distance and win a decision to outpoint the Uzbek fighter. Those odds are pretty intense. And to knock him out, 17-1. So people were saying the odds of him either winning or a long shot and getting a points decision is a long shot. So nobody sees this Argentinian fighter Ocampo going in and beating Giyasov. The bait that I really like when I'm making my prediction, I'm definitely going with the Olympian. I'm taking the guy with the experience, the hype, the undefeated record, the vast skill set. I think he's going to be too much. I think that he's going to see holes in Ocampo's game early on, and he's going to drown him with that body. I think he's going to knock him out. I love the 162. That could add a little bit more juice on your parlay. Or if you're a big bettor, some of you guys message me, 10,000 on 162. It could be worth going heavy on the 162. In the comment section below, let me know what you think of this fight. How do you think it's going to go? Is Giyasov going to win the decision? Is he going to knock him out? Or is the Argentinian fighter going to upset the odds and come home a victor? What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight at 122 pounds on the undercard of Jaron Ennis and Eimantas Stanionis, a fight between the Mexican Arturo Cardenas and the Philadelphia-born fighter Christian Carto. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. Also, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, could you please do that now? My YouTube analytics tell me that 80% of you guys who watch my content haven't hit that button yet. Also, please like this video, and if you can, go down to the bottom of your screen and hit that bell notification button so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. Thank you. All right, guys, this is a fun fight card this weekend in Atlantic City, headlined by Ennis and Stanionis. We've been documenting these fights all week, starting off with the Raymond versus Thomas Mattice fight. We've already covered the headliner yesterday, and now today we're going to go over a fight at 122 pounds. This is a fun fight, guys. You have two big camps going at it. If you're unaware, Arturo Cardenas comes from the RGBA camp, Robert Garcia's boxing academy, and the Philadelphia-born Christian Carto comes from Boozy Ennis's camp. And both guys are going to want to prove a point. Both guys are ranked in the top 40 at 122 pounds. We know that this division is run by Naoya Inoue, which he will be in action in a few weeks as well. But both guys want to put their name on the map and put a stamp on this division to further get them closer to big fights, big premier fights. And this is a great way to go about it. With Christian Carto, the Philadelphia-born fighter, the more you study tape on him, the more you're going to see a guy who loves a dogfight, loves a firefight. All the tape I've watched of him, He has such a connection with Coach Bozy Ennis. You could hear them communicating mid-exchange, mid-fight. And so that always tells me that the fighter is switched on when the corner is giving them commands like, Christian, angle change, and on cue, he's angle changing. Or he throws a punch and he misses and he turns to Bozy and he says, my bad. So he's a very visceral fighter, very fun fighter to watch, wants a dogfight, wants to stand there and trade. And with his opponent, Arturo Cardenas, he's going to get exactly that. Cardenas is coming off a couple close decision victories. When you study film on him, you see a seasoned, skilled fighter. You see a guy who likes to slowly get comfortable within a fight. I don't want to say he's a traditional slow starter, but the knockout highlights I've seen of him, when he gets going, he pours it on. His lead hand's great. I love his combinations. When he's in his flow, he's fun to watch. So this is an exciting matchup between two guys who want to stake their claim within the division. In this video, we're going to go over both guys. We're going to talk about where their careers are up until this point. Stay tuned to the end of the video because we're going to be going over those Las Vegas odds, and I'll be giving you my prediction on where you should put your money. Now let's take a quick look at the fight this weekend. All right, guys, Arturo Cardenas, whose birth name is Arturo Popoca, is 15-0-1 with 8 knockouts and has won his last 3 bouts by increasingly close decisions. A wide UD against Ernesto Garcia Flores preceded a majority decision win over Danny Barrios Flores, and most recently he edged Jesus Ortega Valdez by split decision. Christian Carto is 23-1 with 16 knockouts on a 6-fight winning streak, 5 of which finished inside the distance. However, his lone loss was a 2nd-round knockout at the hands of Victor Ruiz, who has 14 losses, and Carto has never fought beyond a scheduled 8 rounds. And I quote, "Big thank you to my team at RGBA and Matchroom for putting me on such a great card," said Cardenas. "I'm really excited to show the fans in Atlantic City what I can do in the ring. It's going to be a great night of boxing and I plan on stealing the show. I'm looking forward to fighting in Atlantic City and proving my talent on DAZN," said Carto. "I'm thankful to be fighting for a title and I'm ready for the opportunity. The card will air live on DAZN." This is a regional title which is owned by Cardenas, and it's just a step in the right direction for both guys. We're really going to see the class in both guys in terms of where their resumes have led them up until this point, the strength of schedule up until this point, and that's why this fight is exciting for true fight fans, because we're going to get to see all of those questions get answered in the ring on Saturday night. Carto's going to come forward. When I break down the tape on Carto, some of the negative things about his style is he doesn't really move his head a lot, and he really loves that dogfight, which could be kind of live by the sword, die by the sword sort of thing. I already told you he does have 1 loss via knockout, and that's because he's in exchanges. He sometimes gets caught looking at his work. Even in his last fight, a knockout victory, in my opinion, he took a little bit too many shots in which he didn't have to take them. Move out of that range, come in and out, move the head left to right, and these are just sort of small things that I haven't seen yet in his career. We'll see if he's added that into his game, into his arsenal against Cardenas. With Cardenas, it's going to be all about his lead hand. I love what he does with his lead hand, what he does with his jab, the combos he throws to set up his hook, and when he gets in range, when he closes that distance and starts working the body, he's fun to watch. He works all the levels, typical Robert Garcia fighter, body, head, and it's going to be a contrast of styles. I think in terms of skill set, I think Cardenas is a little bit more classier with his overall well-roundedness, but we know boxing is a sport that it takes a lot more than just skill set. You have to have grit, you have to have heart, and Carto's going to bring all that to the table. Let's take a closer look at the Philadelphia native's resume up until this point. Guys, Christian Carto's 23-1 with 16 knockouts out of 1,413 fighters at 122 pounds worldwide. He's ranked number 39. He carries into the ring a 70% career knockout to win ratio, and the Americans and Orthodox fighter standing at 5'5". He hails from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We last saw him against Putrago, 38-13, knocked him out in the 3rd. Jesus Martinez, 35-20, knocked out in the 3rd. Dale, 35-18, knocked him out in the 2nd. Sosa, 14-1, UD in the 8th. It's fair to say at this stage of the career of Carto, every fight moving forward is going to be his biggest fight. He's never been in a 10-round fight. This fight is scheduled for 10 rounds, so we're going to get to see his class. We're going to get to see if he's worked on some of those defensive holes. And as fight fans, I wouldn't expect to see him take too many steps backwards, which is going to make for a fun matchup. Let's take a closer look at his opponent, Arturo Cardenas. Guys, Arturo Cardenas is 15-0 with 8 knockouts. Out of 1,413 fighters at 122 pounds, he's ranked number 28 in the world. He carries in the ring a 53% career knockout to win ratio, and the 24-year-old Mexican's an Orthodox fighter standing at 5'6". He comes from Michoacan, Mexico. We last saw him fight Jesus Valdez, 21-1, split decision victory in the 10th. Flores 15-0, majority decision in the 10th. Garcia Flores 11-3, UD in the 10th. Mujica 8-3, knockout in the 4th. If you look at his highlight tape, if you look at the last few fights, he's taken steps up in his opposition. Thus, you see his fights going from 8 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 10 rounds, 10 rounds. And the last time we saw him get a knockout was against Mujica. And Mujica was trying to pressure him. He was trying to bring him the fight. He said in the lead up, Mujica did, that he wanted to create a war. And that led to his demise because he brought the pressure to Cardenas. Cardenas was patient initially, figured his opponent out, and by the 3rd round, he was landing his beautiful body shots, uppercuts, lead hooks, and by the 4th round, he knocked him out. His last few fights, he lost a very close split decision in his last fight. That could have gone either way. With a fighter, though, it's business as usual. You get the victory and you move on, whether it's a knockout, majority decision, or a split decision. You got to look at their careers up until this point as almost a basketball tournament. Win and advance, and this is the way they're looking at it to get to the next level in their careers. Right now, let's take a look at those Las Vegas odds and see where the money currently is. If you're down here in Australia, let's use our Sportsbet app. All right, guys, the Sportsbet app currently is only letting us do a money line bet, so there are no method of victory bets. So if you put $100 on Arturo Cardenas to win, you get $32 back. So he's a bit of a favorite. The draw 17-1. Christian Carto, $100 gets you $375. So you get your $100 back, and if he wins, you get an additional $275. When I look at both fighters side by side, how they measure up against each other, the height cancels each other out. It's going to show that the ring experience and the round experience is on Carto's side. You have a guy with Cardenas who's a bit more well-traveled, has more 10-round fights. Considering he has belts regionally, you'd have to give him the overall ring experience, ring generalship. When I look at their styles, like I said, I just feel Cardenas has a more overall well-rounded skill set. I think he does the classier work in terms of if you like a technical boxer, in terms of their technique, their sharpness, their speed, what they do, entering the pocket, exiting the pocket. Now, nothing against Carto. I think that he's going to be gritty. He has a lot of heart. That's going to be his biggest strength, in my opinion, is his willingness to stand there and trade. But we know boxing is called boxing, and it's not called knockout. So when I think about where I'm putting my money, who I'm taking, I'm going to go with the favorite. I think Cardenas is going to be a little bit too much right now at the stage of Carto's career. I think he's going to be a bit too much class. His skill set, it's that lead hand, which is the X factor for me. I think Carto leaves his head a bit too much on the midline. I also don't think he uses his jab enough to distract his opponent, and I just think Cardenas is going to pick up on that and make him pay mid-rounds. We'll see how this goes down. Like I said, my money's on Cardenas to beat Carto. In the comment section below, you don't have to agree with me. Let me know where you're putting your money.